Alright, what's going on, you guys? Bryan here with a quick recap of what went down on tonight's Friday Night SmackDown episode. Of course, we are on the road to the Royal Rumble, which is the start of the road to WrestleMania. So, a lot to get into. There were a lot of segments concerning the Universal title match at the Royal Rumble, with Roman Reigns defending against WWE official Adam Pearce. And that would see a huge change as far as what the type of match it's going to be, plus who is actually going to be challenging Roman Reigns for the Universal title. So I'm going to get into that first. There was a lot of backstage segments involving like what type of match it's going to be. You know, Heyman brought the contract to Adam Pearce, or he brought the contract first to Roman Reigns. Then he told Roman that this match needs some kind of stipulation. He said he would handle it. Then he brought the contract back to Adam Pearce, and he had the no disqualification stipulation added. Pearce signed it. Then Heyman brings the contract back to Roman. Roman looks at it, says he never asked for it to be a no disqualification match. He doesn't want it to be no DQ. He wants it to be last man standing. Then Heyman goes back to Pearce and basically tells Pearce that it's going to be last man standing and that he can sign the contract in the ring with Roman Reigns face to face. And that was the ending segment on tonight's episode of SmackDown, where Roman signed the contract. Then Pearce leaves the ring. He basically starts limping, starts clutching at his leg. He then gets on the mic and says, you know, man, this leg of mine's been giving me issues over the years. And you know, card's subject to change. That as a WWE official, he probably will not be medically cleared, and that he could find a suitable replacement, and that a suitable replacement has already been found. And here coming out is Kevin Owens, and who has had his issues with Roman Reigns over the past few months, and specifically with what happened 2 weeks ago, where Roman attacked Kevin Owens after Owens defeated Jay Uso, and Roman would wind up throwing Kevin Owens off of the staging area through a table. And we had not seen Kevin Owens for the last 2 weeks, until tonight, I should say. So it will now be Kevin Owens challenging Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship in a last man standing match at the Royal Rumble. Will the Royal Rumble event be the night that Kevin Owens takes the Universal title away from Roman Reigns? We'll have to wait and see. Also tonight on SmackDown, Shinsuke Nakamura got a bit of revenge for what happened last week when Jay Uso and Roman Reigns attacked him during the gauntlet match that Adam Pearce had won. He got a bit of revenge on Jay Uso, pinning him 1-2-3 in a match. Nakamura got his old theme back, so it looks like he might be going back to being a babyface again. Then, a little bit later on in the show, Jay Uso would confront Charles Robinson, who was the referee, because during the match, Jay Uso had pinned Nakamura for the 3 count, but Charles Robinson waved it off because he saw Jay's feet on the ropes, and then Nakamura would pick up the victory after. So Jay started yelling at Charles Robinson, threatening him with his job, saying that he could be fired if he doesn't do his job right next time from now on. So that was it for that. There was a Street Profits interview. Of course, last week, the Street Profits lost the SmackDown Tag Team titles to Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. They basically said that they're coming for those tag team titles and they're going to get them back. We had Natalya taking on Liv Morgan. Billie Kay was kind of the reason that Liv Morgan lost, because while trying to get the referee's attention, uh, Billie Kay did not realize that Tamina, who was in the corner of Natalya, was on that side of the ring. And when Tamina stalked after Billie Kay, she would end up running into the ring and then running out of the ring, and that caused Liv Morgan to get distracted, and thus Natalya rolled up Liv Morgan for the 3 count. Um, so Billie Kay not enduring herself very well to trying to fit in with Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott as part of the Riott Squad. We saw King Corbin defeating Rey Mysterio. Then in a backstage segment a little bit later on in the show, Rey Mysterio and Dominic were talking. Dominic wanted to get revenge on King Corbin. Rey tells him, no, you have, in order to go after somebody like King Corbin, you have to have a plan, and he knows someone who they can talk to, so whoever that is. We also saw the debut of a new talk show segment for Bayley called Ding Dong Hello. And her first guest was Bianca Belair. They would go back and forth. Bayley being the heel talk show host, tried to embarrass Bianca Belair by playing footage of a match that they had last month, where Bayley beat her. When Bianca Belair wanted to fight her again, Bayley would decline, but then challenge her to an obstacle course challenge for next week. So that's going to be happening. We had a segment that they showed from earlier in the day to set up Daniel Bryan and Cesaro, where Daniel Bryan was training with Otis and Chad Gable from Alpha Academy. Then Daniel Bryan had an interview, which would be interrupted by Cesaro, and this would lead to Daniel Bryan challenging Cesaro, and that would be the next match. Daniel Bryan and Cesaro went up one-on-one. Cesaro picking up a big victory over Daniel Bryan with the neutralizer. This was a good match, a good solid match. Cesaro picking up the win, as I mentioned, defeating Daniel Bryan, building momentum to the Royal Rumble, where that Cesaro will be a part of. He announced that when he came out to the commentary table during the Nakamura Jay Uso match. Of course, Daniel Bryan has already declared his entry, so that was it for that. So a big victory tonight for Cesaro in building momentum heading into the Royal Rumble. Carmella was doing an interview where she talked about Sasha Banks. Sasha would interrupt. She would tell Carmella that she can have her women's title match as long as Sasha gets a one-on-one match with her sommelier. I forget what the guy's name is that is like Carmella's not servant, but like her butler or whoever it is. So that was a thing that happened. Apollo Crews defeated Sami Zayn, and next week it was announced that Apollo Crews will get another shot because of his victory tonight over Sami Zayn. He will get another shot at the Intercontinental Championship as he challenges Big E for that championship next week. During one of the segments where involving Roman Reigns, Apollo Crews was actually in Roman Reigns' locker room, and Roman was giving him advice and talking to him about what he needs to change as far as his attitude and everything to have his career be successful. And then, of course, the Universal title contract signing was the last segment, and I already talked about what happened with that, with Kevin Owens, with Adam Pearce being, taking himself out of the match and replacing himself with Kevin Owens for the Royal Rumble event, as Kevin Owens will challenge Roman Reigns for the Universal title at the Royal Rumble in a last man standing match. So I think the only good thing about this week's episode of SmackDown was the match between Daniel Bryan and Cesaro. There was a lot of other stuff that, as far as the build up to the Royal Rumble, and that was pretty much it. So, um, this has been my SmackDown recap for tonight's episode. If you guys watched it or watched the episode tonight, let me know what you guys thought of it in the comments below. As always, I am Brian, and thank you for watching.